2 episodes ago, we left off as we were arriving in Cape May, New Jersey. After a long day coming down the Delaware Bay, we were met with not only some of the craziest boat traffic since Florida, but huge ferries. I'm talking ferries that can hold school buses and semi-trucks.
There's a semi on it.
In last week's episode, we invited you into our home for a full boat tour. So, if you haven't watched those two, I have them linked below to catch up on. Now buckle up because today we're taking you along the entire coast of New Jersey and into New York City. Make sure you're subscribed and enjoy the video. Well, we made it to Cape May. It is like 6 hours since we last had the camera out. It was a little stressful getting into the Cape May Canal because, of course, we came in right at dead low tide.
You don't like to see that close to the channel, do you?
We weren't the only ones. There was a lot of loot boats coming in at the same time. So that was just not fun because it was shallow and it's Memorial Day weekend or it's Memorial Day, it's Monday. So it was just really busy with boat traffic. And then we wanted to anchor to save money because we're getting into an area where it's just expensive. We don't want to pay $3 or more. I think the place we're at now, spoiler alert, is $3.50 a foot, Canyon Club Marina, but they do have an AGLCA discount, so I think that got it down to $2.95 a foot. We don't want to spend that kind of money when we're perfectly capable of anchoring. So we had an anchorage picked out, good reviews. We also had a backup anchorage, but we just didn't feel good about the boat traffic and idiots out there. You can only control yourself. So we called Canyon Club Marina. Thank goodness they had a spot for us to come in. So we're here for the night. We got some dinner. We just really needed some time to unwind because it was a long day and then it ended on a very stressful note. Tomorrow, we're going to be up bright and early yet again, probably moving by first light, which means we'll be up at like 4:30 because first light is pretty much right at 5 a.m. And we are planning on taking the outside route, meaning we are planning on going into the Atlantic Ocean and taking the outside route to Atlantic City. It is shorter, actually, if you do that because it's so windy on the New Jersey Intracoastal Waterway. And we're just, I don't know, the tides here are larger than what they've been in the last several months since Georgia and South Carolina, and it's very shallow in a lot of places, and the wind looks good tomorrow, so we're gonna get up and do that. And yeah, we're tired. It's a trek. No offense, New Jersey, but we kind of just want to get through you. You're just making it stressful for us. So we'll see you in the morning.
5:02, baby, out of the marina, heading to the inlet, and had a schedule. We were going to back off at 5. I think we backed off about 4:50, so that's great. Check the forecast. It's going to be good wind, according to the NOAA operational forecast, and predict wind, and windy and all the different models. So we're gonna give them hell today, baby.
That's what I like to hear.
Headed to Atlantic City, just under 40 miles. The worst part right now is this current of the incoming tide. Here we are, first boat passing us.
Good job, babe.
We're through the inlet.
First inlet on Northern Attitude.
It took about 30 minutes
Yeah.
to go from the marina out the inlet. It was probably a mile and a half.
It's been an awesome morning. I'm just resting until it's my turn to drive at 8. Getting out of the inlet was a little tricky. The current is just so strong and we go so slow that we kind of fight it a little bit, and Evan doesn't feel like you have great control over the steering when the rudder is kind of going like this. So it'll be interesting going back in the inlet once we get to Atlantic City. Ideally, you would time it with the tide so that you're going out when the tide is going out and then you're coming in when the tide is coming in. But we wanted to make the most of the weather over the tides. So we'll see. I'm just laying here with Ripley. I actually did a little bit of work this morning, so this is the loop life for us. It's a lot and it's tiring, but it's worth it.
Yet another great weather window that we have to take advantage of. Doing 6.5 knots because of the tide. Looking really good out here. Water's nice and blue. Between like 2 or 3 miles offshore, look at the rest of the fam. Ripley will totally wake up.
Hey. It's been a great day.
We made it to Atlantic City. Great work, Evan. Getting through that inlet.
Anchor down, baby.
It was a little stressful getting in here to Rum Point.
Actually, great little anchorage though. It is
Really
pretty
great.
well marked.
And none of the charts make it seem viable, but we messaged a lot of people and they all said it was fine. There are like private markers that somebody put up. So we're here, and I don't know for how long we're gonna be here because it all depends on the weather from here on out. It's another day and we are getting tired. There's just a lot of stress getting through New Jersey, I feel like, and I know we're not alone. I know a lot of other people. I know pretty much 90% of loopers are feeling the same way. You're debating if you want to take the inside route, but if you take the outside route, when is a good weather day? Well, as you can see, it's a pretty crappy day today. We're hoping that Friday is going to be a good weather day. Today is Wednesday, and we are about 60 miles, 55 miles from the next inlet, the next safe inlet. There's Barnegat Bay, but I don't know, people don't have good things to say about that one. So I think today and tomorrow we're going to take the inside track, dividing it into 2, so that way hopefully the weather stays the way it's looking, and Friday we can take the outside track to New York. And you have to take the outside track from Manasquan to New York. There's no option to take an inside track. You have to go in the ocean there. Yeah, we're just waking up very tired today. It's weighing on us a little bit, and we're ready to be through this state. Well, if you couldn't tell in that last clip, we were feeling pretty exhausted. Evan will talk about it a little more later, but there is so much thought that goes into every move. Cruising the New Jersey coast takes careful planning in coordination with good weather, which, as you can see, isn't the case today. The weather sucks. It's rainy, it's cold. Evan gave the local sea tow a call to get some local knowledge before going through the Point Pleasant Canal and heading out the Manasquan Inlet. Beside that, we didn't do a great job capturing the 2 days moving to Manasquan, but just know you didn't miss out on much. Well, made it to Manasquan. Didn't film anything. Been so bad the last couple days. But today's a new day. We are headed out the Manasquan Inlet. I've got a couple feelings about it, but I think I will just catch up with all of you once we are out in the ocean safely and on our way to New York. We made it out. I am apparently just a bad vlogger, not great at putting this video together because my main focus was making sure everybody in the crew was good, Ripley was good. I just kind of found myself saying as we were going out of the inlet, I mean, they were the biggest rollers we've ever been in. And I just kept saying, God, get us through this. God, get us through this. I knew we would be okay, but these are just the biggest rollers we've been in. And most people in comments have been very supportive whenever I talk about my anxiety. And full disclosure, when I talk about anxiety, it's not just because this makes me anxious. I'm medicated for anxiety. So there's that. But you also have to understand that although this is not a crazy ocean crossing or anything like that, you know, we've never done this in this size boat. And you also have to understand our whole life is on this boat. Everything we own, for the most part, is on this boat. So when you think about it that way, it just like makes me a little scared. And I don't want to put those bad thoughts out. I know a lot of people said, like, if you think bad things, then they're more likely to happen. I get it. But that's where some of the anxiety comes from. We made it out here. We're looking good. There are definitely some rollers. The camera does not pick it up at all, but it's smooth, which is great. And now we will just be in this for the next 5 hours, I guess.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're making our last push to New York. I'm excited to see the skyline. It's going to be, I feel like a reward almost. To me, it's finishing the East Coast, and now we are off the coast and going into the Hudson. This week was not like Georgia in terms of like weather, but it was in terms of just long days,
Just trying to get
a lot of navigation, trying to just push through Jersey. I would say between Chesapeake and here are harder navigation when it comes to just every single data point. You're looking at current, you're looking at wind, you're looking at the wind yesterday to see if it, you know, laid the sea down. You're looking at rain, of course. You're looking at both inlets you're leaving and coming into, and when the tide's going to be there at which ones, trying to time your speed.
Wave size.
We don't always have a great speed gauge because we can go 6 knots, but if we're fighting a current, then I need to calculate 5 knots. Okay, it's going to take us 6 hours. So like, constantly changing, a lot of thinking, but that's what keeps you sharp, and that's why you boat. It's just part of the process. We got 100 gallons of diesel yesterday, so we're hoping to, you know, go quite a ways now into New York, not have to get anything in the city. We had a great deal. Captain Bill's right at Manasquan is great location, but man, it is a rough night's sleep. We had calm winds, very calm winds, but just it's so close to the inlet, you get the rollers from the ocean that hug the jetty and the breakwall, and we just moved kind of like this, to be honest. I think last night was a prep for today.
Yeah.
Like this all night long, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 6 lines on, 3 on each side, springs both directions, and it just was like creaking. They also weren't floating docks, and it was a 5-foot swing, so that was a challenging one.
And there's no electric there, which is fine for us, but other people might not like that.
Yeah, that's probably why a lot of people wouldn't stay there. Also, getting on and off with the dog is very difficult. The inlet, well, yesterday we made a push up the inside. I was looking at the wind, I was like, oh my gosh, maybe we just push all the way to New York City today. Keep looking, we're like, okay, we'll look when we get there, we gotta get diesel anyways. When we're pulling in to get diesel, you can see straight out the inlet. That was brutal. There were boats that went down and turned around, big boats, like, you know, 40-foot contenders, 30, you know, high 30s, triple outboards, very capable boats, and it was gnarly, which was crazy because, like, the wind seemed okay once you got out, but it laid down. This morning was, you know, we just had to be on our A game. I just feel with our boat, we don't have any, like, oomph to give it. We do, like, you know, you could run up the RPMs, but with our hull displacement, once that back end kind of sits, that's your maximum speed, and that's all you got to work with. So sometimes I feel like a little bit of a dead duck in the water, just like floating around, not being able to power through things. But at the same time, it's also good because things don't bang. Like, we weren't slapping. You just kind of roll up and go with them. Still not as crazy as the noose, I feel like.
You don't think that was as crazy as the noose? Just that little stint of getting out of the inlet? I mean, those are big.
They were big, but like, we were trying to navigate on a course at the news, and we couldn't stay on the course because of the waves, which is kind of scary, which is why you have to keep tacking. At least with the inlet, you know you're going straight out and you're going out. That's what you're doing. So, yep, here we are.
We just got into New York, and I don't have any of those little champagne bottles or bubbly bottles, but we have some wine left over from last night. So I'm gonna see, it's not even enough for a glass. So I'm gonna see if Evan is gonna be boring or if he's gonna be fun and if he'll take a sip of it. We're in New York, baby. Good stuff too. Okay, I have a proposition.
What?
We're in New York, just take a sip. We don't have any bubbly.
Bonanza though, that's a good one.
That's what I said. Cheers. 9th state on the loop, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Pulling into Great Kills Basin. Ripley, you want some wine? You want some? Have a lick. Have a lick. She's like, I don't know about that. She doesn't like it.
Welcome to New York, baby.
We've moved 5 days in a row.
5 days in a row, covered the whole Delaware Bay and New Jersey.
Crazy.
It's a lot of miles when you only go 6 nights.
Yeah, I know. It's a big day. Here is the plan. We're gonna lift anchor, and I'm suspecting it's going to be very muddy because Josh and Haley told us it was.
Very muddy, and it's also been like
really windy.
15, gusting 30 winds.
So it's probably in there really good.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna get a pump out. It was freaking $20. Not happy about that.
Welcome to New York. We called around, and there was some that were $40. So
with the purchase of fuel.
yeah.
Then we are headed to New York City, Manhattan. Technically we are in the city, but we're headed from Staten Island to Manhattan, which means we're passing
The good old Statue of Liberty.
Yep,
It's gonna be exciting.
We have a plan to kind of buddy boat with Up Next and Inception 2, other loopers. You can't fly drones in New York City. You have to have a permit. So everybody takes turns taking photos of other loopers. So we've got 2 backups to take a photo of us. Here we go. Pretty much right when you turn out of the Great Kills Harbor on Staten Island, you can see the Verrazano Bridge and the skyline. In true Great Loop fashion, I don't know, it's a lot rougher than we were anticipating. The only thing that's really like getting me through, I mean, it's not bad. We've been in worse, and I've reacted worse. But the really big thing that's getting me through is that once we get past the Statue of Liberty, we are in rivers and canals for 300 miles. And then we'll get into Lake Ontario later, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So, yeah, you can see moving a lot. And, yeah, these are bigger than I was expecting. We're almost to the city skyline. Ripley's not loving it. She does well, but you can tell she's like, get me out of this. Me too. How you doing?
That was spicy going around that, huh?
Yeah.
The dinghy was sliding around up here.
I could hear it. The Great Loop God said, you're not done yet.
Here we are at the bridge though. We just saw the ferry. Those things are flying.
This is the moment. Everything changes.
I wasn't sure how I would feel coming into New York because we've been here before several times, but I have full body chills right now. It's so amazing to think we've come up the entire East Coast by boat, and now we're pulling into this iconic city. Yeah, I've chills.
There's no place I'd rather be. It's so
We did it! We made it to New York!
It's a once-in-a-lifetime.
Awesome field.
There she is, all her glory.
You just drove us to New York Harbor.
This place is madness and it's not even a sunny day.
Seriously, you are such a lucky puppy! You're in New York City!